All right, so welcome everybody to today's version of Beyond the Cloud. It is July 31st, and this is pre-recorded because Facebook Live would not let us go on. So it looks like there's too many Facebook Lives happening today. So this has been pre-recorded and will be posted as soon as we can. So we'll go around and we'll introduce ourselves. A question of the day. So we actually have somebody here from the old PayPie, which is now Smansha. So why don't we just say, the question is just, have they ever, used it or seen it or not? Something really simple today, so we don't have to think too much. So I am Tanya Hiltz from Cloud Business Services and Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp. And yes, I have used and do love and have seen, I haven't seen them since they've been Smansha because I haven't had a chance to go and look, but under PayPie, yes, I've seen them before and used them before. So Deb, you can go next.
Hi, I'm Deb Fletcher. I'm located in Colorado. I specialize in e-commerce accounting, and no, I don't even know what you're talking about, Tanya. I don't have any idea.
Perfect.
So obviously, I have never used this, or it could be an orange, type of an orange or an apple. I would have no clue. So you'll have to enlighten me.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Bianca.
My name is Bianca Mueller, and my company's Books by Bianca. And I also am not very familiar with the product either.
Okay. Christine.
Christine Campbell, C. Campbell Agency, bookkeeping in BC, and do not know what you're talking about. Sorry.
I'm not alone.
3 for 3 here.
Looks like you're very well needed here then, Sarah. All right, Kathy.
I'm Kathy Badgery with CSB Creative Business Solutions located in Alberta, and I actually have a PayPie account.
Awesome.
Kathy needs to turn up her mic or her volume. I could barely hear you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, we can hear, but yeah, we definitely heard you louder. But yeah, okay, awesome. Lynn.
Oh, sorry. Lynn James, Downlink Office Solutions in Abbotsford, BC, and I don't think I've ever heard of them.
Okay, well, you're very well needed here then, Sarah. It sounds like there's some people in here who did not attend my cash flow advisory series that we held last year. They were one of the ones represented there as well too. So, and those are on my YouTube channel if anybody wants to go and grab those. Meredith.
Hi everyone, I'm Meredith Bissiker of Pacific Rock Accounting on Vancouver Island, BC, where it's finally raining, yay! And no, I have not heard of the product either, but looking forward to it.
Awesome. And then finally, we have Sarah, and I won't make you answer the question because you already know that, but feel free to introduce yourself. And then you can say what it is so that we don't keep everybody in suspense.
Yeah, excellent. Hi, thank you so much, Tanya. I'm Sarah Whelans, and I am with Smansha. We did rebrand from PayPie to Smansha to closer match the accounting and small business market. So yeah, we have an app that integrates to either Xero or QuickBooks Online, and it's a very fast and easy connection. And we have it for free until the end of August. So if you're interested, all you need to do is go to our website. You don't need a credit card, and it's very simple and easy to log on. So I'll let Tanya guide it. I can do a demo if you guys want. I don't want to come across as too salesy or anything.
Well, can you spell it? Can you spell it or put a link in it? I don't quite understand the pronunciation. Yeah,
it's Smansha, SMANSHA.com. If you want, should I do a quick demo for you guys so you can see it?
Well, yeah. So I was going to say first, if we've got people here who've not heard of you, they probably don't know what you do. So I would start with that.
That's great. Yeah. So we take here. You should see my website now. Are you guys able to see the Smansha website?
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah, it's very easy. It's very straightforward. So we focus on our go-to-market model is through accountants and advisors. And then we focus on small businesses because for small businesses, especially in these very trying economic times, cash flow is a huge issue and it really is a matter of survival. So this is the area of what we focus on. We do have a free license for small business owners. It's not all as encompassing as an advisory license, but you can see that on our website. It's a free business license and this is what it includes. And then for the accounting professional, like I said, it's free to try out. You don't need a credit card information and this is what you get. And you simply click on log in And then as an advisor, this is your client dashboard. You'll see all your clients that have been connected through you, by you. It's a very simple process. You can, as I mentioned, we either connect to QuickBooks Online at this stage or Xero. You just simply click on it, and then you use the same access information as you would have used for your Xero or QBO client information. I'm going to use now one of my existing setups, a demo company. And as you can see, we take the data from QBO or Xero, and it includes everything from AR, accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll, bank feeds, and other data points. And from this, we create cash flow forecasts and cash flow analytics based on that aforementioned data. So for example, if your clients have clients that have payment terms of 30 days, but they only pay in 42 days, Smansha's algorithm will take that into account, that the actual money will not reach the account until 42 days. Now, this simple example illustrates the impact on accurate cash flow forecasting. So here we have, I'm having a little bit trouble with my demo data today, but the concept will come across. Here you see the outstanding invoices and bills. If you hover your mouse over it, this is the dashboard. It'll show your due and overdue invoices, which you can drill down, but it gives you an amount at this stage. Similarly for bills, here you have your P&L overview. So this is as of today. This is for the last 12 months. And it'll show you, this is coming across your chart of accounts from QBO or Xero. I just have two in my setup, income and other income. And for expenses, it's expenses, other expenses, and cost of goods sold. And then here we have the cash flow graph for the last 12 months. If you hover your mouse over it, you see cash in, cash out, and then net cash as well. If you only want to view the net cash, you can just simply click off, declick those. And then here are the last 30-day information, fall in inflows, outflows, percentages, the average balance in amount, non-sufficient fund days, and then for the next 30 days as well, inflow, cash inflow, outflow, average balance, and NSF days. So this is really the dashboard with an overview, but the real power of the product is our cash flow screen. And here you can see the cash of today. You're able to invite your clients, if they don't want to go through the trouble of setting up their own business account, and they really just want to look at the dashboard, you can invite them into their particular company. Here you see, if you click on it, you see the prospective bank accounts for that client and the amounts as of today. Here you see, assuming no new sales, it's 47 days. And then invoices, the amount 50 at roughly 37K. And then the bills is roughly 17K. So you click on it and you'll see the actual due and overdue amounts for invoices. And especially for overdue, this is really critical for following up and ensure expedient payment. You can do the same thing for bills. And then now, as mentioned, because of these times, if they want to renegotiate certain terms, you are able to update the system here. And let's say you've negotiated the payment separated in two. It'll tell you, okay, the original invoice is still under by 650. And let's say the second payment for 650. And then so you can update that here and then ensure your cash flow is up to date. You can do the same thing with bills. If you need to, your clients need to renegotiate either due dates or amount and payment, you can do that here as well. And this will be reflected in the actual payment calendar here as well. You can
How do you pull in the liabilities? Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Is it tied into liabilities, taxes owing, payroll, any of those kinds of things, or is it only bringing in posted payables and posted receivables?
Yeah, it's only at this stage. You can add your own transactions, but it's pulling the data from QBO, all the chart of account transaction data. However, just to make sure I understand your point, if there is an additional transaction, you are able to add that here, let's say for cash in, for invoices, income, and others. and then the respective chart of account information would come across from QBO or Xero. And similar with cash out. You can exclude certain transactions if you like. I haven't excluded anything yet. Or you can add a new transaction in either bills, expenses, or others. Does that answer your question?
Not really. So it doesn't track tax liabilities is what I'm getting at.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it just looks at they're like an accrued
sales
liability
taxes.
versus as a payable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may need to follow up with you on that if that's okay. Yeah, and then for the actual projected cash flow, like I said, you can view it weekly or monthly. So I'm just going to quickly reset the data. And so anything from before today's date is all the QuickBooks information or Xero information. And then anything moving forward are the system's algorithm calculations based on historical information. And then the real power of the product is adding a scenario to look at the impact. Like, for example, adding a loan. You can do the scenario on only the QuickBooks data or system forecast or both. Let's just do both. And let's say we want to see the impact of getting a loan on September. And you could do calculate the flat rate or reducing. Here we go. We'll do 24 installments. Let's say no additional charges. Let's say the first payment, let's do the same day to make it easier. You can calculate installment frequently, daily, weekly, or monthly. Let's do monthly because we said 2 years. Before you accept it, you can see the details here. You can then apply. And then you can see it's color coded. This is the base scenario. And then the loan here, you can see the difference on the opening balance cash in and cash out. So now the cash in is increased by 60,000 because of the loan. And you can see it here as well. If you just quickly go to September. And here we see the calculation of the 60,000 and then the first loan payment due as well on the 1st of September. But let's say, okay, because of these times, we want to assess the 60K with a sub scenario of hiring an employee. Within that, you can actually create a sub scenario as well of calculating the impact of hiring a new employee. Let's say 3,000 onboarding costs for new equipment. This comes across from your Xero account. I'm using demo data. Here we go. Oops. Let's say benefits at 3%. And then if it's, you can calculate payment frequency daily, weekly, monthly. Let's do monthly. If it's a temporary employee or consultant, you can do after certain occurrences or end by a certain date. Let's make this a permanent employee. Before you accept, you can see it here. You simply apply. And now you can see the impact of hiring an employee for that time frame as well. Yeah, I just have to quickly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this was one of my favorites out of the series for a few reasons. The flexibility with the scenarios, you know, was really important. And I do believe it looks like it's even changed a little bit since then, Sarah. Now I know it was Johan that was on and did that. And for those, you know, who maybe don't know, same company, Sarah is the new Johan. Johan has moved on, and so now we have Sarah, but she is in her own right an awesome person. But I don't believe that we had the option of setting up like the 2 payments, how you did. You broke it down into 2 different dates. That's new, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten, there's a lot more reporting ability. And I want to make sure if you guys have the time to show you the advisory PDF reporting. And also because of today's economic situation, the ability to see the impact of an increase or decrease in sales, for example, for states that are now unfortunately closing up again. And then what are we going to need to do to survive? And that's something that's been added, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, which is why I thought it was perfect timing that you said you were available today, because this is something that, let's face it, I have a feeling that Canada, the states, they're starting to pull back. I don't think we're immune to it. I think we're going to be having to pull back too. I really believe that we're going to see that second wave and we're going to have to pull back. And this type of forecasting with our clients has never been as important, to be able to do this as it has been through this year, what we're facing right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty everywhere. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's also from a visual perspective, a little bit more user friendly, with their color coding. And what our market is very excited about is the customizable reporting as well. So we're now able to provide these PDF reports for your clients, really to extend the services for your clients. You can customize with your client logo, your logo, and it's quite interesting. It's very straightforward, focusing on small businesses and really also defining the key metrics. So it's something that the cash flow has really become the topic of the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the one good thing about it is that I love the way that you guys are priced. So you guys might have noticed in the beginning, it's only $9. And what's great is you can use it. It's not, there's a ton of functions in there. You're definitely worth more than $9 a month. But sometimes when we're value pricing, we're like, okay, maybe I want to add this app on or this app on. But then you start to look at the cost. If a $50 app might not be as easy to take as this, and this you can then take this and mix it maybe with another app, and it's easier to put in because that cost is low. So I love the fact that you guys have purposely positioned yourself in a way that we can easily add on. And even if you want to add it on and try it with some of your clients, like that's what we do here. We try, we haven't gotten to it in a little while yet. That's been put on hold with everything, but we bring our clients on and I will pay for the app and we'll pay for the service. And we'll say, listen, let's pilot project this. Let's test something out and give it to them free for 3 months and see if they enjoy it. And then we can also, because the cost is low enough, we could also, let's say they can maybe only afford $50 a month more, but we know they really need it. We don't have to come in at a high value with something like this because the cost is down. Again, it gives a little bit more flexibility with the clients because maybe the ones that can't afford those services are the ones who need it a little bit more. So I love the fact that you guys have stood by that and haven't changed that, with on the pricing.
Do you have any plans to integrate with other softwares at this point?
We do, yes. And we're also getting feedback on what other reporting. We're extending the reporting as well. So yeah, feel free to reach out. And also if are you looking at a specific ERP or accounting application?
Yeah, Sage Business Cloud Accounting.
Yeah, that's on the list as well.
Sarah, I use Sage Desktop. Is there any way of exporting and importing the information?
No, unfortunately not. So, and we really are focused more on the small businesses. And what we're finding is a lot of them are using cloud-based applications. So you're asking specifically about QuickBooks Desktop?
No, Sage Desktop.
Oh, I see. I didn't hear.
Sage
Sorry about
50
that.
Desktop.
Oh, that's funny. That used to be my product line when I was working at
Yeah,
Sage. No, at this stage, we're really focusing more on the just the nature of the application, on cloud applications. Yes.
And that actually brings up something really good to maybe mention to Nick, to think about is that this might be something maybe like right now it's being sold, like as an add-in. It has to add into Cubio. It has to add into Xero. But yeah, there's still a lot of people, even though I believe we all need to be in the cloud, on that. That's great that you're going to be, integrating with Sage, but there's still a lot of people that still either want to work with either an Excel, that want to work in Sage Desktop. I've got a client that I'll never move over from QuickBooks Desktop because the cloud can't handle it. We've got other cloud applications and everything can export to Excel. So if you guys had a feature, you might be able to get some standalone purchases of people who could easily take any Excel, even a client that walks in that does their own old-fashioned ledger, and then be able to take, as long as it's an Excel, export it up and be able to get into that. So that actually, if you guys consider that, might open a whole other opportunity for you.
Yeah, the cash flow forecasting in the construction industry is constantly an issue, and a lot of them are in robust desktop products at this point, just because of budgeting and all sorts of reasons. So yeah, having at least something to export and import. Or
That's
at least fillable fields, you know, like it'd be one thing to run your reports in whatever software you have, and then just have at least some, you know, open fields that you can fill in the data to at least do like some quick forecasting, or like you said, when you're doing your scenarios, right? Because there's so many scenarios in construction that it would be, that alone would be a selling feature for me.
Oh,
And I could see that. Again, I hadn't thought about that because I'm, other than the one client, I think everybody knows I'm solely up in the cloud. But yeah, that's like, that's
my only desktop client too.
That's awesome.
My only desktop client.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, I've stuck with the desktop because my clients, number one, either don't want to go to the cloud because their technology's nervous, or they've got a business model that doesn't work in a cloud environment.
Yeah.
So I've got everything else done virtually, but it's desktop software for the accounting.
And you take a look, like FreshBooks, and I haven't looked into it, but FreshBooks has a whole brand new, you know, apparently, again, haven't seen it yet, but you know, they've got a whole new, you know, accountant thing, and apparently like they're putting money into that, you know, so you've got all of these other ones, and I don't think it would be too much to just build that. So, because again, everything can download. We can export into Excel. So if that's, yeah, I think that would be great, because then again, you guys would open yourselves up instead of limiting yourselves.
Yeah, excellent point. And you guys also raise an excellent point about industry-specific requirements. So I appreciate that feedback. I'll definitely forward that internally. Thank you.
Yeah. And what I love about you guys too is, like, you know, I've worked with Johan, I've worked with Nick, and you know, you and I have met a few times and haven't worked together, you know, as much, but I love the fact that, you know, you guys are open to the feedback and to making the changes, which is really good. So
yeah. Well, that's it, definitely, because we really do sincerely believe that our go-to model are the accountants. So we need to make sure that we meet your requirements, right? So no, absolutely, I really appreciate this feedback. So overall, especially because of these unusual economic situations, what are you guys finding with especially the small business clients? Is cash flow much more of a topic now? And how are you guys approaching that whole area? Or is it something that you're not necessarily focusing on because there's so many other things as well, you know, tax season and all that stuff? I'm just very curious what your approach has been to date.
Well, it's been very payroll encompassing for a lot of people. That's sort of the priority right now. But yeah, as soon as all those doors open back up again, it's going to be cash flow, like heavy forecasting. So
yeah, and I have a nonprofit where cash flow is, well, we have 4 different budget scenarios that the board just voted on recently. And so that's my question is, would this work with a nonprofit that only has a couple of very large sums of money coming in a couple times, maybe 4 or 5 times a year? Would it make sense to, I guess I could try it. It wouldn't cost that much to give it a whirl.
Yeah, and I'd love to be able to, like, I can you know, meet up with you via Zoom and take you through the product with your exact requirements. And then I can also capture your feedback if you like, because we do have clients that are in the nonprofit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good, because I mean, we all have to pay attention to cash flow, but we're reporting to the board, and I need to be able to confidently say every month, we're good, without doing it in Excel.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm doing right now.
And that, you know, and that brings up again another great reason of why, you know, again, you should tell Nick that, hey, let's go ahead and let's get this in Excel, because you're right. I never even thought about that. Because we don't deal with a lot of nonprofits, and usually it's Leanne that deals with we do have one where we've got their their Canadian head office, and then we've got 1 or 2 of their little individual franchises. But you're right, like that, all of their reports, their cash flow forecasting and like all of that stuff, they give us Excel. That's where it's from. QBO isn't robust enough to be able to do that. They run in Excel. And again, if we could just boot, pop it in. We could do a lot of
It's
easy
it's
planning.
worth the $9-10 a month just to have a better presentation of the same
Yeah.
figures.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Totally,
and it's
totally.
very easy to email it. I don't know if you guys can still see my screen. It's very
Yep, we
straightforward.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so if Nick tries to hum and haw, just,
Well,
just give
here's
me the call with him.
Here's the thing,
Def-
the nonprofit that is my client, we support we're an art service organization, and we support a ton of art service organizations like arts councils, etc. in British Columbia. We're the go-to, and I
Yeah.
help them with their budgeting. So if we can get on board and we love this, then that might be a great tool for some of our members as well.
Oh, excellent. Yes,
So
excellent.
I'll give it a whirl and see where it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my email is Sarah, SARAH at Smansha, SMANSA.com. So just so you
Okay.
know. But yeah, also, yeah, they're not a problem. Or Tanya's all my contact information as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meredith knows how to reach me too, so I can connect
Yeah.
you guys if it doesn't work or whatever. Meredith, just let me know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, so let me ask you, why the rebranding? Like, why you've gone from like one all the way to another, like pay pie, a piece of the pie, and but so what does Smansha, like? Why the rebranding, and what does Smansha mean? Or Smansha,
Smansha. It doesn't really mean anything, but there was also confusion with PayPal and blockchain. So in order to separate that confusion or get away from that confusion, Nick, the CEO, thought it was best to rebrand it, especially with the launch of the new product. And and then Smansha Analytics Inc. is the official company name. So that was really the reason, but no, it was also to separate from the blockchain endeavor. Yeah.
and that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, like you've got, PayPal, you've got Bill.com, you've got WayPay. They might have put you in with there instead of a cash
Yeah.
flow app. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and also also we now have with this app, which is part of the app, if any of, in North America, if any small business owner would like to look at pre-qualified funding, that's now a possibility in the app as well, simply by clicking on the actual app. It's in the app. You know, if you want to assess funding, you can do so. There's no pricing for quotes. And we work with over 50 high caliber lenders. And that's something that some of our accountants and business partners had expressed an interest as well. So then the whole process to assess loans, especially in these times, is made a lot easier. And the whole process is very smooth, very secure. It's not focusing on the credit score. And then we take the information from Smansha, from the information we receive there. And then if that is something that your clients are interested in, the whole process, the administrative process, is eliminated with that. So we've really diversified from that front as well. So it's cash flow forecasting and funding for small businesses.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's important now, because what happens if you've got a business that really wants to stay afloat,
Yeah.
that, knows that they're going to be able to come out the other side, just need some temporary flow, and maybe the funding's not available, because there's still a ton of people, Canada and the US, that are falling through the cracks. Then it's just a matter of sit down and then thinking, do they want to take on that extra risk? What's the risk of them coming through the other end?
Yeah.
And if it's a good risk, maybe this is what would help them to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were about to release this product when the COVID situation occurred. And then the US government released the SBA PPP program. So we revised the application from the funding to make the whole process for applying for that a lot easier and smoother.
Okay.
And I was just amazed how popular that program was. Well, for obvious reasons, obviously, and it was really targeted towards small businesses. Yeah. And so it really takes away the administration and compilation of all documents to apply for a loan. So it's very effective from that perspective.
Nice. Yeah, because I heard the PPP again. I'm so glad that, I've only got Canada's crap to worry about. I've heard the PPP. It was not fun. It was not fun.
Yeah. It was sure popular though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, companies, they needed it, to be able to get through. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody else had any other questions on this or comments or.
So in the initial setup, when you're linking the chart of accounts to pull it for the data to pull in,
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back to that, the liability aspect that I had mentioned in the beginning, because I didn't quite I don't think you understood, or I didn't quite understand your answer. And I just wanted to see what sort of liabilities you have the option of pulling in. Is it just accounts payable?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I
There.
only have a demo account here. I need to check that. So if that's okay, I can follow up with you.
Like in the initial setup, when you're, connecting your chart of accounts, like, do you get to pick your defaults?
it should be taking across all of the chart of account information from Xero or QuickBooks Online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I still have it connected to my account.
So you'd have all your tax liabilities, all your loan liabilities, credit cards.
And I believe, you know what, I believe now that I'm thinking back to the original demo, like the original demo that we had when Johan was on there and did that through the cash flow series. I do believe that yes, there was, because I do believe I remember, and again, we'd have to confirm. I'll put this, in the comments and then get back to everybody here on the call, like I can email out the answer. But I do believe that yes, that was there, because I do specifically recall somebody asking about the tax liabilities.
Yeah, because like we've got WCB, we've got like all sorts of things that are just tallying up, but they're only due quarterly or annually or monthly or whatever. So it's setting those parameters within that, right?
Yeah, so that would come across. To answer your question, yes, it would come across.
So
but if those bills are only due quarterly, is there like a setting where you could be like, okay, we need to budget for this one quarterly, this one monthly? You know what I mean? In the forecast? Because the liabilities all have different due dates.
Yeah, so it would come across. Yeah, I think it's best if I follow up with you after this demo, if that's okay with you. But it would come across exactly the way it would be set up. So, but yeah, I think it's probably best for me to follow up with you separately on that.
Yeah, so if you just wanted to let me know, Sarah, and then I can go ahead and just forward it to everybody here.
That sounds good.
Because most people will have that same question.
And then I'll make sure to, and then we'll make sure to put that answer when I post it out. Yeah, Sarah wasn't like prepared for like a full demo. We're like, here, we'll just talk about some of the changes. And
we love throwing people to the wolves in this group.
No,
don't worry.
I think it's just, no, I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I just finished the demo right before, and then I noticed, I didn't know if it was a network issue on my part, but that there were some demo issues. But anyway, no, all's well that ends well. Like I said, I'll follow up with Tanya to get you the exact detailed information.
Yeah, and then I'll make sure to post that in the Facebook group and on the YouTube channel, so that if anybody is watching it after, they can see that. And I'll make sure to post your contact information as well too, Sarah, in both places when I post this.
I really appreciate that. Thanks, Tanya.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm very sure that it did, but like Bianca says, that would be something that we need to be able to put in there, because there's a lot of times I try to put stuff through under the accounts payable as much as I can, but there's still always those ones that don't. If you're working in QBO, you've got your your receiver general goes under a receiver general suspense account, right? So there's that. You've got your accrued liabilities for for a lot of things that again just don't work in the accounts payable, but that you're still going to want in a cash flow.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Awesome. All right. So no other questions for Sarah on this?
And then an export
I can see how this is going to be really helpful. I have a lot of my clients seem to be on top of what's going on with their cash. So that's good. They have regular invoicing every month, and it's not a lot of little things going in and out. But yeah, I had a client this week going, I think I need to want to give myself a raise. It was a really good month. Should I do that? And I'm like, year end's just coming up. We need to see how good your month actually was, et cetera, et cetera. So this would be such a great tool just to plunk in some numbers and see how flexible things really are, rather than doing Excel.
For sure.
The white labeling is a really nice feature as well too, that if I'm remembering correctly, again, PayPal was one of the few that had that built in even in the summer when we did that, to be able to white label it, so that to have your logo on there and the client's logo. And, you know, again,
Yeah.
it just looks really nice and professional, even though, again, the reports have definitely changed, and there was a lot more in them than there was before, but still having the white labeling was good.
Yeah.
Can you calculate cash flow on like seasonal variances?
So
Sorry.
that's, no, not at all, actually.
Mhm.
That's something, so to some degree you can already, and this is in financial modeling. So you can actually pick the months that where you have seasonal variations. But next week, actually, we will be releasing more functionality within the financial modeling. For example, if you even do changes or increase and decrease in sales revenue, projected sales revenues, or by futuristically, we're also looking by product line. And we're really trying to reach out to people in different industries to really capture industry specific feedback and cash flow requirements. So let's say, if Bianca, if you can talk me through your example. So
Well, there
here
would be a whole bunch, but like what Meredith says, like I've had not-for-profit clients in the past, and you literally wait like till you get these big lump sums of grant money, and you sort of have to make that money last, or make what you have last until you get that next lump sum. So if you know that you're gonna get it at some point in October, you know, then putting that in October and having that be able to plan out.
Yeah, so in a lump sum, you could do it directly into the actual calendar, if you will, as I just mentioned, in cash in or cash out. And if you want to see a little bit more complex scenario forecasting, that's really plan a scenario with a sub scenario if you'd like, and you can see. And the algorithm, so Smansha's algorithm will actually calculate what are fixed costs and the impact on those as well. So here I have an example. Okay, this is what the impact will be if you have a decrease for the next 3 months in sales, or alternative, conversely, an increase in sales over the next 3 months. So that's also really intended to focus on seasonal fluctuations, as you mentioned.
Yeah, because I had a school, and this, even though the school closed in the summer, the employees stayed on payroll, and a lot of the other costs dropped, and there was only specific overhead costs involved, but there was no revenue. So even planning that out over a 12-month period, even though they're only getting revenue for 10 months,
Yeah.
is a big deal as well.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, that's the type of feedback I'd love to obtain. I think that's very valuable, definitely.
Yeah, being able to forecast and project up or down one way or the other is invaluable.
Yeah, that was a top requirement, especially now because of the economic situation. It's yeah, especially you know, how to survive over the next 3 months. It's very yeah.
Yeah, for all the people that took the $40,000, you know, small business loan. Well, now you can put it in and base it on the terms of that loan and the payback date, so that you can get your $10,000 forgiven. And like, there's all those scenarios within that one loan.
Yeah.
So even being able to account for all those variables would, you know, help, because small business owners don't see any of that, understand that side of that equation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's something, yeah, we can do with the scenario planning as well. So there's 2 ways really to add the scenarios: directly into the calendar, or for more complex ones is really plan a scenario, and if you like, a sub scenario within that. Let's say a 60,000 loan, and with that 60,000 loan, we want to assess the impact of hiring an employee, let's say, or decrease in sales. Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. No, yeah, it's
Cool.
nice to see the changes on it, and then it's, you know, definitely coming forward. And again, especially right now, where this is going to be, you know, more important than ever, you know, for some of our clients to be able to, you know, let them know exactly, you know, what needs to be done in order for them to, you know, make it through the other side on this, instead of just, you know, well, sell more, spend less. I mean, I've never liked that response.
Well, and it's displayed in a way that they can generally understand too. It's not
Yeah.
all stuff that's going to be Greek to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very intuitive. And like I said, some clients, the feedback I've had, some clients are not interested. They're not financial or accounting oriented. So they sourced everything out. However, if, you know, if they do want to see, you can invite them in their respective app, in their application, just invite a user, and then they can see the dashboard and the, you know, all the forecasting you may have undertaken. But now with the PDF report, it's actually a really nice value added service to be able to just email them this on a monthly, or yeah, that's something that's become very popular for our end users.
Now, when you pull the PDF report, can we put our own, let's say there's a comment that we wanted to add to that. Is that something that we can easily add in here?
A comment, and not at this stage. You are able to add a report to it. So if you've done any additional type of reporting or analysis, you can include that in the PDF just by simply clicking on the upload.
But we can't put a customized comment in there.
Yeah, that would be helpful, because I know a lot of clients would look at this PDF and go, what? What does this mean? And it's up to us to translate it, but it'd be nice to have a, hey, this is what this says in a nutshell.
And yeah, and it is nicely, like, we can see it is nicely translated, but yeah, there are some clients that still would not get that, and we have to spell it out in a different language or just add a couple of extra notes. And so we're like, hey, this really means blah blah blah.
This peak means when you're gonna get this, that. It's like, it just stops, like it'll stop a million back and forth.
It would.
Which already is a problem for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I think was asked before. So yeah, you can tell Nick that's still in the feedback list.
Okay, excellent. No, that's good. I've captured that one. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, again, although it's clearly, you know, worded for us.
Yeah.
Some of our clients, you know, you've got to break it down, like, you know, accounting for dummies or cash flow for dummies. It really, really needs to be broken down, because if they're blue collar or they're landscaping, they can talk landscaping, but this means nothing to them. Nothing, right? So
that's good feedback, because I actually thought that they had, like, because we define it, and there's always a fine line. You don't want to talk down to people. What do they know? So we do define some of the key metrics, but you raise a good point, and they're also busy focusing on growing their business. So it makes sense.
And that's exactly it. And we know our clients, so we know at what point and what level is comfortable to dumb it down to them without getting insulting. So that's it, exactly. If there's just like a little that we can add a comment box to each of those, just click on it, add in a couple of words that, you know, that we want to you know, add in, like that would be great. Because again, like, you know, it is broken down, but to some people, I have some clients that still would be, again, they're landscaping, they are this, they are that, they can talk about that. When it comes to this, they would just completely shut off. So I'd have to, again, phrase it a little bit differently or whatever. But yeah, that's to leave it up to us, because again, we're the ones that know kind of, again, what is the proper amount of dumbing it down, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have another question.
Yeah.
In the initial like sync where it's pulling the data, obviously every time you sign in, it's going to refresh that sync, correct?
It's real-time connection.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you've gone and say right at the beginning of COVID, you've done all your forecasting for your client, COVID hits. So now you're basically having to, like, historically sort of maybe change some things or delay some payments or forgive some accounts receivables. If you're going in the past and you're adjusting those, and you're real time, it's going to adjust the reports going forward, even though you've made a transaction adjustment in the past. Does that make sense?
So you can, let's see, I just want to, okay, let's pick May 1st. So walk me through your example. You can make changes. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so say I just finished doing all my reports for my client and I sent them, COVID hits. I'm doing my next month and I've realized, okay, well, a lot of these figures in this report are now going to be inaccurate because we're not going to get that revenue.
Yeah.
Our payroll costs are changing, everything's going to be changing. So I've now gone in, and the government's given us all sorts of, you know, subsidies and grants that we're now adding in, maybe retroactively.
Yeah.
So I need it to, is when the real-time sync happens, obviously those reports that I did are going to be inaccurate. So I'm going to have to redo them, and it's going to go and redo it all based on the transactions that I've redone historically.
Yes, so we have a real-time direct connection to QuickBooks Online and Xero. So if you're making changes in the chart of accounts in QuickBooks or Xero, that would come across within Smansha as well.
I don't know if I said that right.
So-
You guys understood what I was saying. But like all of a sudden we got all these government liability subsidies, like the 2s and the Qs and all these things.
Yeah.
So we all of a sudden weren't paying those, and we were getting the money back, but it was going to be all, the timelines and dates were all going to be weird. So it just, anyways, it was an unknown time that we have to actually consider now going forward when we're doing these kinds of reportings, because it's high potential to happen again.
So you are able to make historical changes here, but then bear in mind that's only changed in, it's a one-way communication. That's only changed also from a security perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the changes would only be in these forecasts, these changes. But
That's
if
right.
if you make changes in QuickBooks, like just from an accounting perspective, if you make changes in QuickBooks, we want to hold the integrity of the accounting data.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a real-time connection. So all those changes come across. But if you wanted to, let's say for whatever like from an analysis point of view, just see what the impact would have been, let us say. I haven't had that question
Sure,
historically.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, you can
Thank
do
you.
that here. But I just want to be careful how I word it, because it's from an accounting, especially in certain regions, it's very important to stipulate it's one-way communication. Changes in Smansha will not change QuickBooks or Xero, as it shouldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
we
good.
Wouldn't want it to, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
No, but the ability to go back, like Bianca's saying, and plug in some of those numbers, because we don't know for sure what we're going to get or where we're going to sit. But let's just plug in.
Or when we're going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just plug in a number and see what that does to the flow going forward.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can do that here, exactly. So
Okay.
cash in, you could do it from a cash in, income, other, and this would come across, bear in mind I'm using demo data, this would be the chart of accounts from QBO or Xero, and then you can add that here, and it would only be changed within Smansha.
Okay.
Similarly, you can do from a cash out perspective. So add a transaction, and then add the amount here. So is it a repeat? No, let's just do, you can do end date or repeat frequency, daily, weekly, or monthly, but let's just do it one-off. I haven't done historical. Let's try that. No, see, you won't. So it's forecasting. Okay. It's only moving forward. So that's interesting. I've never had that request before. I'm going to follow up on that internally.
You've never had COVID before.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, because all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, well now you can go back and change it as of this day. And we're like, oh, okay. So we all really had to go back in time and recalculate all the stuff. So that's kind of where that question came from. I also wanted to ask you, is there not a sales tax scenario option when you're doing these transaction scenario based? It doesn't have a sales tax consideration.
Oh,
when you're planning the scenarios, like the GST liability on your sales and the
as an actual like plan a scenario.
Yeah.
Not at this stage. I'm going to make a note of that and then follow up internally on that.
Okay.
And then can you walk me through that use case? So for example, you want to see.
Well, obviously, if you're going to plan a scenario and then you have an increase in revenues or expenses, then you're obviously going to have an increase or decrease in your sales tax liabilities. So if you're punching in a revenue scenario, you're going to get so much more next month, but it's not actually considering the 5% GST that you're going to owe on that.
I'm going to check because it's my understanding that if for those that the algorithm works whereby that would be automatically taken into account, but I'm going to double check it internally on that.
Sorry, I'm a hard ass.
No, actually, this is fascinating. Oh my God.
It's my brain. It came from my mother.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, this is good. No, I like getting feedback. Also industry specific. No, Bianca, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, we're 4:30, so I guess if there's no other questions or comments or anything anybody else wants to talk about or ask about.
Can I ask one more question,
Yeah.
Tanya?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you save and store the scenario? So you do all your scenario this month. Can you save and store it? Because next month the scenario is going to be different, but you may want to look at both.
Yes, so you can reset the data per scenario, but if I now, it's automatically saved. And starting next week, you can also export them as well. So if I log out and back in, these scenarios will be saved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, we've got Lawrence. He's been sitting there. I don't know how long you've been there, Lawrence. So I'm very, very sorry.
Just a little while.
So now that I saw you
listening.
here, brought you in. So thanks for joining us. Yeah. So was there any questions? I want to be able to make sure to give you the opportunity. So
There was one question where someone was saying, I have a non-for-profit that's waiting for a big chunk. I have a client that they're a for-profit company, but they get a lot of grants, and it's the same kind of thing. They knew that, like I'm just saying, in terms of the timing thing, it's not just not-for-profits that may be waiting for large grants. I have a client that's a publisher, and they got a lot of government grants, and they come in big chunks. I'm just saying, in terms of doing your timing of your cash flow, it's not just not-for-profits that are waiting for training.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so that's interesting. So right now, like I said, we are assertively adding new what-if analysis scenarios. So now it would be plan alone. I know that's not quite, or financial modeling, an increase in revenues. But I made a note of that. That's interesting. So thank you for the input on that. And I'll definitely make sure to take it back internally to our team as well.
Being able to split the revenues as well, because things like bursaries, subsidies, grants, those are all like variable amounts often as well. You're not, you think you might get 20,000, but if the government pulls the plug on that funding, you're only going to get 18. So having it as a separate variable in revenue would also actually really help.
And to be able to defer it as well, because we defer a lot into the next year.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. I love it.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'll do, Sarah? I'll make sure that once I get this posted to YouTube, I will email you a link. So that way you can go back and, grab all this so that you make sure you don't miss anything.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really appreciate that. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Because I can guarantee you, if I don't get back to some of these ladies on there, they'll be reaching out going, Tanya, did you hear yet? Did you hear yet?
I like that. That's awesome.
Well,
No,
we're in the accounting profession, all about accountability, right?
yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, the team is sincerely looking forward to actual real life applications, how to diversify the product. So no, nonprofit, and then what Lauren said as well. I appreciate that feedback.
They have sales from books, but they also get these grants from various government agencies on a regular basis. So in terms of kind of cash flow analysis, they need to look at both streams.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, this will be, this is really the area where we intend, and next week already, there'll be additional areas where we really want the end user, the accountant, to have more. So I appreciate your feedback. It's very timely.
Perfect.
It would be anything in a cultural industry. So it would be publishers, it might be theater groups.
Yeah, arts and culture schools.
Any arts and culture kind of thing would be having both income from operations, and they'd be getting grants.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. No, I'll definitely take that feedback internally.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, well, last call for any last questions, especially for poor Lawrence, who I love sitting there. Thank you, thank you, thank you for patiently just waiting.
Listen, I got here
Welcome. It's your first
late,
time.
so I'm not worried.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Sarah. Again, it was great timing, so I'm glad that you reached out. Again, as soon as I'll get this up later tonight, I'll get this up on the Facebook and on YouTube. I will email it to you, Sarah, and then when the responses come in, I'll make sure to, again, post them on the YouTube, Facebook, and reach out to everybody who was on here for sure. So if I don't have your email address, which I think I've got most, I don't have Lawrence's. Actually, I think I might. I think we've been emailing today, either, or maybe it's just been Facebook. But I'll make sure to tag you, and if I don't email, I'll tag.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who is watching afterwards and who is, taking the time to come on today. Thank you. And for those in Canada, I hope you have a very great long weekend and that you actually are taking a long weekend. So
Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay
yes,
cool.
and those down in the
Bye.
States, Jessica actually reached out. She did not join us because she is getting ready for a hurricane. So Jessica, if you're watching this afterwards, stay safe. We're all thinking about you. And Deb, I'm glad that your internet lasted the whole time.
Yay! Yeah, the wind
Awesome.
kicked up. I thought I was going to lose it, but I made it.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.